Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K Facebook Live video. And I'm just out here on my Facebook page making sure that I'm live where I would like to be, which it looks like I am. And I'm just pulling up the video so I can see your comments and see when you're hopping in to say hello. So if you are joining live, I appreciate that. Feel free to say hello if you are. And if you're watching the replay, that is just awesome too. So I always appreciate that as well. So hey, Karen, I'm glad you're here today. So today we are going to be making a card with the Today's Tiles stamp set bundle. So this is one that is in the new annual catalog, and it's a lot of fun to play with. I looked at it in the catalog and initially wasn't so excited about it, and then I pulled it out and played with it, and I really love it. I love how it stamps the background. It's very, very cool. So hi, Meryl and Nancy and Pam and Heather. I see you all are here, so thanks so much for joining today. So this is the card we're going to be making, and I'm going to show you. It's actually really, really easy to do with the Stamparatus in particular. This background image actually lines up perfectly when you use the little hinge step method, and I'll show you how to do it in the video. So just so you know that it lines up perfectly. I know we've had some in the past that haven't worked quite as well. So, but this one actually works really well, and I love the way that it turned out. So hey, Catherine and Lori, and you haven't gotten that one yet, Karen? Yeah, I think you need it. Hey, Elise, I'm glad you're here as well. So, all right, so that is the card we're going to be playing with today. This stamp set, again, is called Today's Tiles, and it's got some neat sentiments in it, things that are a little different, which is kind of nice. I like the fonts in this one, again, where it's the mixed fonts, but there are the two background images that we're going to be playing with today, and then these are the field tiles dies that coordinate with it. I guess I can turn it that way so hopefully you can see it a little bit better on there. So when you cut out the images here, the sentiments, actually this one is designed to coordinate with the sentiment, or as you'll see on my card, you can just use it as a little background panel. This one also fits a couple of the larger sentiments, and then this one is, this one is designed to fit some of the smaller ones, and I think this one is too. So all of these sort of layer nicely together, and the dies that we are going to be using today, I'm going to be using this one, this one, this one, and then the larger square around here. So we're playing with most of them. So hey, Rosie and Beth and Mary Elizabeth, I see that you all are here. Hopefully I haven't missed anyone else hopping in to say hello, so I appreciate you being here. All right, so these are the dies that we're going to be using today, and I'm going to set those things aside while I get set up here. Two things I wanted to make sure that you knew, actually three. Two things for sure that you need to know about today and worry about today is the very, very last day, which is June 30th. I know this is going to technically go live on my blog on July 1st. So if you're watching the video, you're too late, and I'm sorry. But it's still great to join. But the joining promotion actually is ending from Stampin' Up! Today. Hey, Diane. And hopefully I don't mess it up. That's which is always a possibility when I'm live. So, and Jerry and Myrtle and Barbara, I'm glad that you're here today as well. So, all right, so we have the free pick a free bundle. I don't know why I can't say that. Starter kit promotion from Stampin' Up! That is going on through the end of the day today. It ends at 11:50 p.m. Mountain Time tonight. And if you're thinking of joining, please don't wait. Because something always goes wrong if you wait till the last minute. And then you're panicked and I'm panicked, and it's not a good thing. So if you're interested in joining or have questions about being a demonstrator, please let me know. I would love to have you come join us, join the team. We've had quite a few people join this month because it's a great promotion. So if you're interested at all, drop me an email, let me know, and I will be happy to talk with you more about it. All right, so you get to pick a free bundle with your starter kit. Starter kit is normally $99 and free shipping on it. You pay taxes if that applies in your area. And you get to pick $125 in merchandise of your choice from Stampin' Up! That's the normal starter kit. Right now, in addition to the $125, you also get to pick a free bundle of your choice. So that's any stamp set and die bundle, which you could pick the Today's Tiles if you like it and get that for free, or any stamp set and punch bundle that they have in the new annual catalog. So, and also just saying that demonstrators get to pre-order from the new holiday catalog starting tomorrow. So Yeah, I already have my wish list made out. So, all right. Last thing that I wanted to remind you about that's happening today or ending today is the annual catalog kickoff celebration. That where you get, if you order $250 or greater in Stampin' Up merchandise, you get an additional $25 in Stampin' Rewards or free cash to spend from Stampin' Up with your order of $250 or greater. Today through the end of today, again 11:50 p.m. Mountain Time, and again, please don't wait. So, hey Marilyn, I think I said hi to Barbara and Jerry already, and if I didn't, I apologize. If I said it twice, I apologize too. So, thanks again for joining today. Okay, so those are the two things that I wanted to make sure you knew about before we get going. All right, so. First things first, I'm going to pull out my Stamparatus, and I already have the little foam mat in here because we're going to be using a photopolymer stamp set, and then I've got my grid sheet laying over the top of it so that I don't make a mess all over my foam mat. Okay, so first things first, I went ahead, I cut a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and of course I should have written down the measurements. It is 5 3/4 by 4 1/4. I wanted it a little bit oversized, knowing that I was going to need to do a little bit of trimming from the edges because the stamp set doesn't go way down to the very, very bottom of the image. So I knew I was going to have to trim away a little bit, so I wanted to have a little extra to start with. So again, I cut it to 5 3/4 by 4 1/4, and it's just Whisper White cardstock. And then we're going to pull out, and I wanted to show you how I line these up here on the Stamparatus as well. I'm starting with the more solid of the two images. And I took my paper, tucked it way down in the corner, and then just took the stamp set, and it's got kind of notched edges and rounded edges over here. It probably would work fine, but I just felt like I wanted to have the more square edges tucked down into the corner so that hopefully I could get it as straight and as square as possible. And I'm just using my hands. Yeah, it's on the screen. I wanted to make sure that I was on screen so you could see it. And I'm just tucking it down in the corner as far as I possibly can. And then I'm going to close the Stamparatus lid, press down a little bit, and that will pick up the image, and it should be in the exact spot that I need it to be, hopefully, if all goes well, to start inking the image. So I've got Seaside Spray that I used as the first color, kind of the larger of the two, the more kind of background colors that I've got going on here. So I'm going to be inking the image here with Seaside Spray ink. And then, I'm trying to figure out where to set it down so I don't end up sticking my fingers in it. Which I probably still will. Oop, I can see already that's not going to be a very good image because I did not get enough ink on that. So let's try that again. All right, so then we are going to put it down here on the Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to give it a good press. And then I'm going to lift and keep my fingers crossed that I got it. Yep, looks like I got a decent image. The next thing that I do is the Stamparatus actually has a removable plate. So you hold it straight up, and I know it's probably going to get fuzzy on the screen, and lift it out, slide it up 2 notches, and put it back into the Stamparatus again and open it up. And then we're going to ink again with Seaside Spray ink. Just as easy as can be, as long as you get the right amount of ink on it, which hopefully I did this time around. And again, make sure your paper's tucked down in the corner. And then we're going to stamp it down, give it a little rub, a little press, and lift it back up. And it's lining up perfectly, which is good news to me. Again, I'm going to lift the plate out, lift it straight up, lift the plate out, open the plate again, and we're going to do a little bit of re-inking. Brave doing it on a video. You know, I've been a little stressed about this one just because it's easy to do, but it's one of those things that it's also easy to screw up if you don't really pay attention. So I've been trying to pay attention to what I'm doing, make sure I don't make a mess of anything. So, hey, Shelly, I'm glad you're here from California as well. All right, so then I've got the last little, oops, and I can see there I missed a spot of ink already. See, Karen, you're jinxing me. That's it. I thought I was all good to go, and then I was getting ready to make a mess. All right, so let's try this again. Seaside Spray ink, and we are just going to stamp this down. Give it a good press over all of it, and then lift it again. And it looks like we got all of the images on there right. So if you wanted to do multiple cards with this, which it is really easy to do with the Stamparatus, all that you need to do is just, take your paper out, bring your plate back down and start at the bottom and just stamp it right up again, which it works really easily, really nicely. I'm just taking a little bit of the extra ink off of that because we are going to actually take this out and flip it over completely. So I'm still leaving the original image attached here. And then I'm going to put the plate back in, put my paper back in where I started at, take the second image and lay it right over the top of the first one. This was probably the most difficult part, was just making sure that all of the little pieces were lined up where they should be. And I'll probably kind of hold my breath the first time that I stamp it down because, you know, things happen on camera that you don't necessarily plan for. But I think I have everything in the places where I need it to be. And then same thing, I just placed the lid for the Stamparatus, or the plate for it, right over the top and picked it up. And now comes the moment of truth. Did I get it lined up correctly? Hopefully I did. So the Stamparatus does make this really, really easy. And Karen, don't worry, I was just giving you a hard time. So, all right, so then we got a little Misty Moonlight ink we're going to use for the second color on this one. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of Misty Moonlight ink on the more detailed image here. Try to make sure I've got it all covered the first time. And I'm going to go ahead and put it down here. And if I stamped it wrong, we're going to have it stamped wrong on all three all three sets. But it looks like I got it stamped pretty well. All right. So again, going to take the plate, and I'm trying to lift it out without smacking into the camera for you. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, move it up 2 notches, and then re-ink it with Misty Moonlight. So really easy. We'll make sure you're lined up in the corner again. Put down, make sure, again, give it a good press. And then same thing with the last one. Just going to do a little bit of ink in here with Misty Moonlight and then stamp it back down again for the final little piece. So loving the Seaside Spray and Misty Moonlight together. I agree. It's a good set of colors. Blues generally tend to be my favorites anyway. And then, yeah, I like these two shades of blue in particular. So, all right, so giving it a good press and lifting off. And yep, it looks like we are all done. So it's as easy as that, really. It's not difficult at all. It's not difficult to line up. And again, I love that it basically just, it does all the work for you. The Stamparatus is designed so that you can make it super simple and make a bunch of cards with it. And everything's lined up perfectly, and you don't really have to do a lot of work to get it lined up perfectly. So, all right, so we have got the card front mostly done here, or the background of the card front, I should say. I am going to pull out my little Stampin' trimmer here and do just a little bit of trimming, because again, as I said, I cut the panel a little bit oversized. I want to make sure I'm at the right measurement. 5.5 should be there. As I hold my breath and make sure I didn't mess that up. So I'm going to just trim away the last little 1/4 inch so that it'll fit on the card front. And the reason, again, that I did that is because, as you can see, it would have left a bit of a white edge along this side and not one on this side. And not that it would have looked bad, but I just wanted it to look a little more, I don't know, even isn't even the right word, because they're not exactly even. It's a little bit off-centered, but I didn't want the white edge on it, I guess. So, all right. And definitely a great plan on Stampin' Up's part to get the images that work together so perfectly, because it's, yeah, like I said, it makes it really easy for us. So, all right, so we've got the background of the card done. And hopefully I can breathe a little easier now that part's done, although I'll probably mess something easy up, because that's usually how it goes. Get through the difficult things and then make a total mess of something. So I'm just using a little bit of liquid glue to go ahead and adhere this down to a thick Whisper White card base. The card base is cut to 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. So my 4 1/4 by 5.5 piece of Whisper White cardstock should fit perfectly on the card front if I've got everything cut correctly, which hopefully I do. All right, then we're going to do a little bit of layering with a couple of the dies. And I went ahead and cut some of this ahead of time so you didn't have to sit and watch me die cut things 50 million times. But these are 2 of the dies from the Field Tiles dies. And I have this one cut from Bumblebee and this one cut from So Saffron cardstock. And I'm going to do a little bit of trimming because, again, when I put these together, I didn't necessarily love the kind of, it looked a little busy in the corners for me. So all that I'm doing is just taking my paper snips, and you know, this is my kind of cutting. You all know I don't do fussy cutting, but I can snip these pieces off, especially since they will be hidden and nobody will see that. Even if I'm cutting them badly like I am, nobody will be able to see it. So, all right, so let's get the last little piece trimmed out of here. And then I'm going to take this die cut again. This one is Bumblebee. This one is So Saffron. And I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue on the back of the Bumblebee die cut, hopefully, if I can get it to come out. There we go, without having it come out in a big blob. All right, maybe a little bit more. Just want to make sure that it's stuck down fairly well. And then I'm going to take this die cut that I had trimmed the edges off, and I'm going to flip it face down over the top of the first die cut here. And because it's liquid glue, it gives me a little second to sort of make sure that everything is pretty well lined up and centered. And hopefully you can see it on the video, but you should be able to see little peaks of the white on the grid paper around the edges of this, and then you know you've got it lined up and hopefully centered the right way when you go to flip it over. So that's the look that I liked. I didn't, like I said, I liked the corners a little more empty on it when I did it that way. So we're going to take a little bit of liquid glue and again, hopefully adhere it down to the card front if I can get the glue out of the bottle. So it is like a little puzzle, and thanks, yeah, so it's like I said, it's a fun little die set, a fun stamp set, and I'm really liking it. When like I said, when I looked at it initially in the catalog, I was it was nice, I thought, but it just wasn't something that really grabbed my attention until I started playing with it, and I'm like, oh, now I get it, and I like this. So, all right, so we got that adhered down. The next thing that I did was to add a little bit of bright color to it. I put some Magenta Madness, which probably, I don't know, it probably doesn't coordinate extremely well, but I wanted something that was a little bit bright and a little bit fun to go with it. So using a little bit of Magenta Madness cardstock, and I cut this again with one of the Field Tiles dies. And just going to use a little bit of Stampin' Seal to adhere it to the card front. Oop. And then I almost dropped it and had it almost stick. The other thing that's nice about having the kind of grid pattern on the back of your card is that it does make it a little easier for lining things up to make sure that things are straight too when you're adhering it down. That's something that I always kind of stress over, is making sure things are straight, and that definitely makes it easy. So, oh, you like the Magenta Madness? I'm glad, because like I said, I kind of looked at it and I'm like, oh, that's kind of bright, but I liked the way it ended up in the end, so I was glad that I used it. So going to use a little bit of Stampin' Seal, and I'm just putting it over the top of the center here of the Magenta Madness little piece that I've got stuck down here, because I will be layering some ribbon as well as a sentiment over the top, so you're not going to be able to see the adhesive that I've got on here. So this is Seaside Spray, and it is the 1/4 inch metallic ribbon. Hey Karen, glad that you are here, and no problem on being late. You know, I understand. Not everybody can hop in the middle of the day. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and kind of lay this down in a little bit of a Z pattern here over the top of my card front, and hopefully get it stuck down without too many issues. I think we'll go about like that, and then do one more little zoop here. I guess it's called a zoop, I don't know. Loop-de-loop-de, zoop-de, I don't know. And trim it off with my snips and get that out of the way. So we've got the ribbon placed over the card front. Next up, I went ahead and again pre-cut this with one of the Field Tiles dies, and this is for the sentiment, and it's just Whisper White cardstock, and it decided to go bright again on the sentiment and used Magenta Madness for my color on it. So peeking in during lunchtime, Bonnie, I won't tell anybody, I promise. You know, you can go back to work late too, and I won't tell anybody about that either. So, all right. So let's get this stamped down here, and I'm hoping this one turns out okay, because of course I should have cut a second one of these just in case, but I think I did it. So, all right, so we've got that stamped, and I'm going to use a couple Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere this to the card front. Whoop. throwing my dimensionals around. A couple things that I do want to let you know about too. Bonus days are starting tomorrow, it's an awesome deal from Stampin' Up, where for every $50 in merchandise that you order, you get a $5 off coupon that you can apply to an order during the month of August. So bonus days starts tomorrow and runs through, the coupon collection runs through August 3rd, and then you can redeem your coupon starting on August 4th through the end of August. So that's a nice little bonus that Stampin' Up is doing. Again, we've got a new catalog, so lots of fun things to get, and love that you can get some coupon codes from Stampin' Up. So if you have questions about that promotion, I do have a little bit posted out on my blog today, and I will be posting more about it tomorrow. My blog is stampwithamyk.com, so if you don't follow me, you can go out and take a peek at the blog and see it there. So, all right, add in a couple of little rhinestones here around the card front, just to give it a little more bling on the card front. I think we'll put that one over here. And I think that we are done with the card front. So I'll show you quickly how I decorated the inside of the card. Again, I use the tiles dies, so I'm going to hold my breath a little bit and hope that I get everything lined up again on here the way that I want it to be. So I'm actually going to take this and use my Stamparatus again, and I'm going to move the plate up towards the top. And I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock that I have cut to 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to go ahead and put it here in the Stamparatus, and I think that I'm going to, actually let me grab a magnet because I don't know that I'm going to be able to do this without moving. Hey Trudy, I'm glad you're here. So, all right, so we've got this cardstock. I'm sort of lining it up just a little bit away from the edge because again, as you remember, there's a little tiny bit of a gap down here. So I'm trying to make sure that I get the full tile image across the little piece of cardstock that I've got here. So I've got it lined up at the bottom, got a magnet laying on the top of it. And again, hold your breath and we'll all do it together. You're going to use a little bit of Seaside Spray ink, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp down on the edge of this piece of Whisper White cardstock. And hopefully everything will be lined up okay, and I'll be good to go on this. And then we can flip it over and use the more detailed image. I think everything stayed in place, although looks like I've got a little, all right. Then I'm going to flip this over and put the Stamparatus plate back in the same spot. And again, because I didn't move anything for my images, I don't have to reline everything up again. It should all be set to go in the right place. And I've got a little bit of the Misty Moonlight ink that I'm going to put to add the more detailed images. So you're learning a lot today. Well, good. I'm glad, Catherine. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you're enjoying the video. So I'm going to take this and again stamp it down carefully over my cardstock panel. And again, everything should be lined up, which it looks like it is. So that is going to be the edge of my little decorated piece inside my card front. So let me set that aside. And we will adhere this down, and we'll be all done with this card. So, well, let's see, what else? Oh, one other thing I wanted to remind you about, if you haven't seen it today, I have my retired items, my things that retired. Come on, Amy, fingers are not working today. Things that retired at the end of the last catalog, posted out on my blog today, what's left. I usually let my customers pick their items first off the retiring list, and then anything that they don't want, then I post that out for sale, which I've done today. So if you're interested, the details are posted on my blog, and you can find a link to go peek at my retired items. So if you have an interest in any of those, let me know. The items usually sell pretty quickly, so just drop me an email. Details, again, are all out on my blog, which is stampwithamyk.com, and you can take a look at it and let me know if you're interested. So, all right, so that's the inside of the card. It's super simple. I'm just going to do a quick crease with a bone folder here on the outside of the card. And that's it. So this is the card we made today. This is my sample card that I made ahead of time. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you will get this stamp set because it is super easy to use. And again, I was a little stressed about it on camera because I was afraid I'd mess something up, but it went smoothly. And if I can do it on camera, you can certainly do it at home with no trouble. So, all right. So thanks so much for joining today, and glad that you liked the card, Pam. I appreciate you being here. And oh, Samantha's here too. I guess I don't think I saw you earlier, so thanks for hopping in. I appreciate you being here. And if you have questions about anything, please let me know. I'll be posting all the details for this card out on, and I've convinced you to get the set. Yay, Myrtle, I'm glad. So I'll be posting all the details about this card out on my blog tomorrow. So you can take a look at all of the cardstock cuts and all that will be all posted out there and the colors I use. So take a peek tomorrow at that. And I will plan to be back on my YouTube channel on Friday around 2 o'clock Eastern Time, and back here again on Facebook Live at 2 o'clock Eastern Time next week, Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend. For those of you that get to go out and celebrate this weekend for the 4th, have a wonderful time as well. Be safe and enjoy your holiday, and I will chat with you all soon.